Hi, good morning. So in this presentation, I'm going to very quickly cover the uh, quick introduction on my analysis on MD200, and particularly I'm going to focus on the discussion of my results for the experiment. So if you're not aware, uh, MD200 is a controversial rule in Maryland, which connects two counties, runs parallel to a ring road that encompasses the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan area, which is very congested. It aims to reduce traffic on that road, and it also aims to make it more reliable to travel along this road. The road was in in multiple controversies. It was built at a major expense of $2.5 billion, and as a result, it's a toll road. However, it does claim to save around 30 minutes from start to end of its along its route. Um, it does add around $1,500 worth of toll to the average daily user. So the first thing to verify if the road was being used as it was desired, I went in and checked for AADT values on the road. Uh, and around 2014, the AADT values reached around 45,000 vehicles uh, vehicle counts uh, per day, uh, which was desired for the road. And As of 2015, as you can see, the value is around 45,000 to 48,000 in certain segments. Um, so this is the MD, sorry, this is the MD200 road over here, as you can see. Um, it is being used internally as well for internal commute between the counties. Um, So the next thing that I wanted to see was reliability, and I got this data from British website, which basically uses current travel time counts. So according to this data set, the current travel time on an average for start to the end of this road is around 16 minutes, and it varies plus or minus 1 minute at maximum with a 95% confidence. So it is fairly reliable. So with its intended volume and its intended reliability, the road does serve its purpose. However, we want to answer questions, will it be relevant in future? And that's the reason why I use uh, PRESTO, and which is the integrated modeling suite and scenarios that we use at National Center for Smart Growth. Uh, it is an integrated model, has a land use model, MSTM, or Maryland statewide transport model, has an economic model in it, and we have different scenarios. Now, in this particular experiment, I'm just using MSTM and scenario components, and I'm not using the land use model and other more richer set of models because time constraints. Uh, you can find more details on the project on the project website. Uh, so these are the growth scenarios that we have. I will explain them in detail as I go along. Each run takes about 12 hours if I do it completely for MSTM. So I've just limited myself to peak usage. So this is the comparison for base scenario against a modified network. So in this modified network, I basically just remove the MD200 or ICC corridor, and I just say, what if it was never constructed? What would we see? Compare this base scenario uh, with the modified network against the base scenario prediction for 2030. Uh, as you can see on this map, this is the ICC corridor. I've removed the links so you can't see them. And if you observe, this is a percentage change in volume. As you can see, uh, there's no significant increase in along the capital beltway over here. However, there is some increase along MD270, which is about 5 to 15%. Little bit of increase along a few segments on I-95, which is also expected. Uh, However, as you can see over here, there are like a lot of vehicles using this arterial as an alternative to get to uh, Brigalow and other regions around here. And as a result, the significant increase in volumes along these interior arterials over here. This is just because you don't have this major road inside, you're going to see increase in volumes, which just indicates that the residents are using this road. Vehicle miles traveled is in line with volume usually, so we won't see much of a difference. Vehicle hours traveled, on the other hand, is a little different and it can get more intense. So as you can see, we didn't have much of an increase in traffic on Capital Beltway, but uh, the change in vehicle hours traveled is significant enough. This is due to the fact that it's already a congested road and probably even like a 5% variation in increase in volume is going to significantly increase vehicle hour travel times. So as you can see, vehicle hour travel times increase along MD270, along a few lanes on Capital Beltway, along I-95, and of course along the interior arterial links. So you are going to see that effect. Um, the speed, I beg your pardon for this, but like intuitively green should be for with regards to speed is increase in speed and red for decrease in speed, but I've used it the other way around, wherein green just means that the speed increased and red means that the speed increased. So if you can see over here, the speed has decreased. It's green over here, which means it has decreased along I-95. It does not decrease much along the beltway. However, there are a few problematic links wherein people are coming on this, and you can expect a bottleneck happening over here because of that. MD270 is, although taking significantly high volume, uh, it is able to fairly adjust for that volume, so it should be fine with that. Um, a few links internally have a significant change, and that kind of deteriorates the congestion along these roads. This is a change in congestion time. It's pretty much in line with the congestion speed changes. Overall, you can say that yes, there is some effect of MD200 along the Capital Beltway. Uh, uh, while the percentage change in the volume along the beltway is not significantly high, the effect of the small change is quite high. And in terms of volume on MD270, clearly there are more people just using this to go northbound along in the evening and go southbound along in the evening on I-95. So what if we change future? And one of the ways we can do that is to introduce different scenarios. So one of the scenarios is last call at the Oasis, which is a transit focused uh, scenario in which we make full investment on transit. We leverage all the existing technologies in this. So you're going to have car sharing. We assume people are going to pay more for fuel because fuel may get expensive. We are expecting increases in job and assuming smart growth, wherein all new jobs are located at transit locations. Uh, Overall, this should decrease significant amount of traffic. And when you compare it with the base scenario, see that clearly as an effect of this significantly reduced volumes of vehicles. Um, Similarly, significantly reduced volumes in vehicle miles traveled, and similarly significantly reduced vehicle hours traveled metrics as well, all along the network. This is the comparison of base scenario prediction against the prediction for last call of the OSs without the ICC. Um, Again, I'm sorry, red indicates an increase in speed. And as you can see, there's a significant increase in speed because the volumes decrease because of high fuel costs and more availability of transit. Um, so uh, Blue Planet is a slightly lesser intense version of last followed the Oasis. We assume transit investments focused on high-speed rails, and yeah, well, we've assumed MATLAB, but there are a few different parameters we can change with that. Uh, we are increasing the total number of jobs. Uh, uh, and the significant change of this is that uh, the newer jobs are not necessarily located on transit locations. You might have them inside somewhere, and this kind of changes the growth pattern. Uh, Also, we have reduced fuel costs of 9 cents per mile, uh, because I already showed you the change in pay scenario compared with last call at the OSS. This is just a lesser intense version, so we expect more or less the same results. So what I've done here is, instead of doing that, I've compared prediction for Blue Planet against prediction for Blue Planet with the change in the network, which is just remove ICC corridor. And as you can see, just because, and this gives a more clearer picture of the impact of the corridor on the reduction in traffic. As you can see, there is an increase in traffic along MD270. People are taking this road, and they are taking this road to access the arterials connected to it, and then kind of disperse towards their residences or offices. There's significant increase in this particular link over here along Spencer Road, I guess. And that is just because it's an alternative to ICC for a major part of its route. Similarly, you are seeing a relief in some links, however, like a few ramps, exit ramps over here, which are just basically connecting ICC. However, overall, there are a few links along I-95 that do get intensified in terms of volume. Percentage change in volume is not significantly high along the beltway except for one or two links, but it's not that major change in volume. Similarly, in vehicle miles traveled, uh, they are pretty much in line with volume. Vehicle hour traveled, again, you can see the impact here a bit more clearly. The vehicle hours traveled significantly increases, um, and particularly along the beltway, as you can see, there's more links with increased vehicle hours traveled. There are more number of links on the interior or on the arterial roads or major roads inside, uh, who have increased vehicle hours travel. And a few of these links have significant increases in vehicle hours travel. Similarly, speed, as you can see, the speed green indicates decrease in speed. So along the beltway, you are seeing decrease in speed. Along 95, you are seeing decrease in speed. Uh, Similarly, congestion time. All in all, to conclude, yes, there is a significant impact of MD200, even when you consider transit-oriented development. And and this further gets reinstated as we discuss more scenarios as well. Um, so the next scenario is ashes and diamonds. This is more of a private vehicle growth scenario. However, in order to curb traffic, we have imposed tolls at ICC rates along the beltways and along the core. Also, in any network except for removing the MD200 link. Uh, and the fuel cost is around 6 cents per mile. And the job growth is a little more dispersed and a little less intense. So as you can see, this is comparison of the ashes and diamonds to the base scenario. Uh, Overall, as expected, people are going to use more vehicles along the arterials, avoid uh, beltway and major highways. Uh, However, and that's the reason why you see tremendous increase in the volumes along the arterials. Uh, However, you see a lower increase in volume along the I-95 and MD270, and that is probably just because of the toll rates. There is still significant increase nonetheless because, well, we are not assuming transit growth at all. Uh, the situation or the volume growth on capital beltway also increases. So overall, yes, this will actually kind of increase the traffic. And as compared to last call at the OSS, you will see significant amount of increase in traffic. So transit definitely does have an impact in reducing the congestion as well. Um, Again, vehicle hours travel increased significantly. It's already all over. Uh, Along Capital Beltway in both directions, along MD270 in both directions, along arterials, along I-95, it increases significantly because of the increased congestion. Uh, Similarly, green here indicates reduction in speed, and the speed has reduced significantly because of the increased congestion in the roads. Um, Similarly, congestion time increases as well. Revenge of the Nerds is a little smarter. We add a few specific transit lines. Uh, Also, we assume autonomous vehicles, and the way we do it is we increase the road capacities because you're gonna accommodate more roads when you have autonomous vehicles. Also, we reduce parking costs. We increase the employment in center of the cities and reduce the vehicle operating costs significantly. This is more or less a version of ashes and diamonds, wherein you will see more people using cars. Uh, Comparing Ron against its prediction with the MD200 links removed, uh, you see that MD200 does have a significant impact even in this case, and that's in line with our assumptions. Significant increase in MD2 along MD270. Uh, Also, as you can see, the uh, arterial serving as an alternate to ICC has significantly increased volume as well. Uh, there's not much of a percentage change in volume along the Beltway or I-95, which is also as expected. Overall, a lot more growth on arterials. The traffic situation, however, or the congestion, however, does not drastically change. Yes, there are a few links along the beltway that will be affected, but it's not that significant. I checked these values and they are around 10%, so they're not very high in numbers per se. However, the alternative to ICC, you will expect conditions to worsen quite a bit. Uh, Similarly, for speed, along a few links in Capital Beltway, you are expecting reduction in speed, but nothing significant. And similarly, congestion time. So to overall conclude, there is a significant impact of I'm sorry, that should be I-495. Significant impact in change along 495 uh, because of MD200. Uh, oh, sorry. Significant impact on change in volume on 270, MD270. It's correctly specified. Because of MD200, people will take it as an alternative route to get back to their homes, and it changes significantly the volume along that road. The in terms of additional change in the volume for beltway, it's not going to change that much. However, the conditions will drop significantly, and that is because beltway is already in a very bad state. And while you may increase the volume only by 3 or 4%, but you will see a significant condition deterioration along that road. So that MD200 does also uh, help relieve congestion on that road, and which is doing its intended purpose. Also, transit usage clearly is as effective as MD200, and we saw that from the first two scenarios in reducing the congestion overall. So what I have used right now is just the volume counts and speed counts. However, from the model, we can get consumer benefits and a few other transit usage counts as well. So we can do that. I have not used land use model, but we can also include land use model to understand how it actually affects the growth in the region. And that'll be it from me. I hope I convinced you that MD200 is a useful road. Thank you. Have a good day.